Hey there, Russ here. Welcome back to the shop. Today I want to talk about something a little different. I have, if you've ever done timber framing or any logging, one of the things that's a really nice tool to have is what you call a slick. It's a slick chisel. I don't know, any of you know what that is? I assume everybody? Yeah, the guy in the back raising his hand again. He knows all these answers. Every time I ask a question, he's always got his hand up. He knows the answer. Are you related to old Sneedlock Workshop, Dave over there? Man, he's a pretty smart fellow. Anyway, a slick is used. It's like a big white chisel, heavy, and it's used to be able to strip the bark off of the log, or if you're timber framing and you're cutting joints, you use the slick to help flatten it out so that you get a nice smooth surface for the two to mate to each other on the joint. And so they're a handy tool to have if you're going to get into doing large pieces of lumber. So I wanted one, but if you know what those things cost, you're going to spend $100 without batting an eye pretty fast. You get one for under $100, you have to look around. And I think they're starting to get a little better price on them now in the last couple of years, because now I can see them for around $80. But the thing is that they can be anywhere from an inch and a half wide up to, well, the one I've got is 4.5 inches wide. And I bought this one because I really wanted to use it mostly for stripping the bark off of the log before I start cutting it up with the sawmill. So anyway, the price of that, if you try to buy a really wide slick, I'm sorry, but you're going to spend $200–300 on the darn thing. So let me show you what I did that's so cheap. So I went over to Harbor Freight and I bought it's called the Warrior. It's a SDS clay spade. It has a chisel end on it, has a slight curve to it, a crown this way, and it's kind of a bevel on this way. But this thing actually, I found out, worked real well for stripping the bark. And I assume that if I wanted to do some timber framing, I could probably use it too. The only drawback is that it is 4.5 inches wide. So some of the joints that you would want to do, you'd have a hard time getting this in there to get into that tight of an area. But they do not only make this one, let's talk about this first, and I'll tell you about the other set that they also have. But this is an SDS chisel. It fits on a SDS chuck, which is, I think, used on a lot of jackhammers and stuff. And that's what these things are designed to do, is to break up concrete and hard materials like that. And this actually only cost $40 from Harbor Freight. And I've been using it as a slick. And so, to me, it's been the cheapest slick I've ever seen out there. And I didn't even put a handle on it yet. I've been using it for 2 years. I wanted to make sure I liked it. So, but it has a good grip on it, and you can get a lot of leverage. And this thing weighs 4 pounds, 10 ounces. So, it's got some beef behind it. So, when you're starting to try to strip off, it works real well. So, if I'm going to put a handle on this, and I think that on this one in particular, I was thinking outside the box, because most slicks, if you've ever looked at a true slick, it has this part here, and then the shaft actually points upward slightly at a slight incline. And that is so that when you're getting down low, you have your hand around it, you're getting down low, you're not going to scrape your knuckles trying to scrape something away, like if you're going down the length of a log. So I've decided that rather than a regular handle, I'm actually going to make a handle similar to this design here. If this is the slick with the shaft going into the handle, I just want to make a simple handle like this so that I can grab it through here and grab it around the main shaft and use it that way. Or if I had to be really low, rather than scraping my knuckles, I can raise my hand and put it around the top part instead. And that keeps my fingers from getting knuckle scraped on the log when I'm scraping it. So I'm probably going to put it, rather than just a straight handle on here, because I don't have that bend upward on the chisel, I'm going to take and make a handle like this. I think it'll still work very well. And then I'll have about $40 wrapped up into a really nice slick. you can't beat the price. Go out there and start trying to look at them. Now, again, this may be... Sorry, I had a message come up on my computer. This thing may be a little too wide for most of your uses, especially if you're doing timber framing. But they also make another set where on that SDS, it has the same SDS shaft. This one here, let me give you the specs. It's 4.5 inches wide. It's about 18 inches long overall length, and it weighs 4 pounds and 10 ounces. And so it's a nice size, beefy piece of metal. They also make another set that's a 3-piece. And in that set, they're 12 inches long. They range in weight from about 1 pound, 1.5 pounds, up to around 3 pounds for the widest one. But it comes with a point chisel, with a 1-inch flat chisel, and a 3-inch flat chisel on them. And they all have the same SDS fitting on the end, shape, so that they fit in the SDS chuck. I haven't bought that set, but that probably is not a bad set to buy if you want a slick that's not quite so beefy. That would be a good set to buy too. I'll leave a link to both of those Harbor Freight products in the description, so if you're interested in looking at them. But if you go out and look at SDS fittings, chisels, I think you'll find a lot of them would actually fit and be very useful if you wanted to use them as a slick chisel instead of going out and buying an actual slick chisel. So you might give it a try. Like I said, been using this for 2 years just like this, and it has worked awesome. So, and the only thing I want to change is I do want to not scrape my knuckles on it. So give it some thought. I don't know if you have any slicks, but if you do, if you don't and you were looking for one, check out the SDS stuff and see what they look like. And I think you may find what you want for a lot less money than what you would normally spend for a slick. Because the price of those things, even new, you get to a 2 inches or wider on a slick, and whew, you're going to be at $100 pretty fast or more. So it's a good way to save some money, which is what I'm all about, as you know. So anyway, now that I've told you about my slick and what you can possibly do, there's a couple other quick things I want to talk about. One is, I wanted to mention to you that I was on a forum the other day, the Legacy Ornamental Mill forum, and the guy there mentioned that he just had a tree fall down in his yard that was about 12 inches in diameter, and he was talking about getting some free wood. And I started snickering about it, because I guarantee you that that's an oxymoron as far as I'm concerned. If you get a log and you're going to cut it up into free wood, there's a good chance that you're not going to have free wood. It's going to cost you some money for some tools to be able to process that log to make it to where you can then use it for lumber. So I just thought that was funny, free wood. So I don't know what you think about it, and I bet there's a million stories out there about free wood. Like I said, I just did my logging in the burbs. I had like close to 15 logs up to 22 inches in diameter. So that's when I started down that road 2 years ago, and I'm almost done now. But I have, honestly, it's not been free wood. Even though when I started, I called it that. So keep that in mind. If free wood isn't always free. So anyway, I'd love to hear your stories about that, if you have any, about your free wood. And I could talk for hours about it, so I'll try to leave it alone. Lastly, what I want to talk about is I have a new t-shirt. Check it out. Remember I told you that she got me a whole bunch of them. She's going to give them to me one at a time. So she finally gave me the second one. Let me show you. So, and this one says, let's see if we can get this into the screen. This says, "Don't worry, I can fix it." So anyway, I guess she has a good sense of humor. You know who. And I thanked her for the new shirt. I'm anxiously waiting to see the rest of them, and I know she's just giving them to me one at a time, so oh well. Anyway, so much for the shirt, so much for free wood, and get yourself slicked if you get a chance. This is an inexpensive way of doing it. So, any questions, any comments, any ideas, or any war stories that you want to talk about? Leave them in the comments. I'd love to hear them, and I'm sure most of my viewers love to read that stuff too, if you didn't know. So, If you have any questions or anything, that's where you want to do it. If you like this video or you learned something here, hit that like button. Even if you didn't like it, but you learned something, hit that like button. It helps me know that at least I'm doing something the right way. So, most importantly though, come back again, because if you didn't know it, I'm nowhere near done. So, thanks, and we'll see you again very soon. Bye.